Welcome back to the Team Nerd Herd podcast. You know it's a Sunday show when you're doing an impromptu, but it's recorded, and it's not, it's live. Welcome back to the Team Nerd Herd show podcast, where our best advice is if you want to do it right, collect what you like. It is your boy and Comics and Pops. We are here for the segment of Karmen 3 and that dropping the mic, and we're going to go ahead and get into it right now. We're going to go ahead and highlight Guillem March, his work in Karmen. I think it's an amazing title. Before we get into issue 3, I kind of want to go back and revisit issue 1 and issue 2 with Alonzo. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get a roll call. Alonzo, I feel like this is kind of like deja vu sometimes, right?
It is. It's like, you know what? I just saw you a few hours ago. What's going on, Steve? I mean,
yeah,
seriously.
And I'll be seeing you in a couple more hours then.
That is true. That is true. Thank you, everybody who's in the chat. This is Alonzo, aka Comics and Pops. I am your comic book nerd and pop culture fan. Over to you, Steve. This is your show, baby.
Oh, thank you so much. No, this is the team show. This is the Team Nerd Herd podcast, not the Steve Nerd Herd podcast. But it's your boy Steve, aka Hip Hop's in Me _comics _collectibles. I'm your 1/12 scale collector, comic book lover, and chaser of all things nostalgic. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get a little rundown of the group chat, the lovely group chat on a Sunday afternoon. Hermano, what's going on? That's my little brother, Eric the Phoenix. Something right's about to happen, my brother. Thank you for showing up. HK Wifey, 420 Sheena. What's cracking, girl? What's cracking? Brother Rudy, my brother Rudy. Much love. Thank you so much for always supporting and rolling with the Team Nerd Herd. Zen Multiverse. How goes it, kind sir? Good afternoon. Oh, my man, J2 Ramirez. What's going on with that horror? My boy is horrific. What's going on with Scott Ellis? Scott Ellis, hey, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. All right. We're going to go ahead and roll out. We're going to go ahead and go backtrack to issue number 1 of Karmen, and also issue 2. There will be some spoilers, so please bear with us. If you guys haven't read it, I definitely understand. Hit the mute button, and we'll kind of lead into that. But let's go ahead and kind of take a wander back to issue 2 or issue 1. Okay, this is Guillem March. He's doing the writing. He's doing the art. The art is amazing. A lot of pencil and pen work. Digital colors are that's the only thing he really does. I've kind of watched a lot of his interviews, and I mean just to see the background. I mean, Karmen is beautiful. Everything you think of when it comes to a more horrifying topic. This is a really sensitive subject as we are going in. So this is for mature readers. And we are going into what opens up as a scene of, explanation to dream, what is not dream, what is feeling and not feeling, kind of between the parallel between life and death. And you kind of see kind of shots of what we know as our characters, Catalina and Cisco, growing up on a schoolyard. They're the best of friends. They're opening up. There's a bit of dialogue between the parents, and they become the best of friends. Years down the line, you're skipping in, and you kind of fall into what looks to be like Catalina and Cisco are together, and you're kind of walking into finding out that there is a mishap in their relationship.
So Steve, why don't you break it down a little bit further for us? Why don't you let us know, like, for one, who's Catalina, and who's Karmen? I mean, the book is called Karmen, so kind of let us know. I'm curious.
I'm already foot on the pedal, right? My bad. I'm sorry, Alonzo. So Karmen, to us, is what we would probably say the angel of death. Very quirky. I mean, when you think angel of death, I mean, it bleeds fear into your heart, but this is not the case. And Catalina is the main character. You're taking through a journey through her eyes and what she went through. And basically what's happening is you're seeing her life as she's younger, developing her relationship with her friend Cisco. And you're coming to kind of walk in and find out that, there's an affair going on. And Karmen out of nowhere comes in. There's a pan out. What I love that Guillem March does is he kind of opens up alludes to, you already know what's happening, but you really don't see the full picture. He gives you a little bit of a portion and opens up into the story. So you're seeing Karmen come in. She's being brought into the fray. Exactly. And she's coming in. She gets this word that Catalina, spoiler alert, has committed suicide, has taken her life. And Karmen is coming in to pick up and take Catalina to what we know as purgatory, I want to say.
I would say that too. I would say that for sure.
Yeah. We learn that later, that there's no heaven and hell, in these later issues. It's more or less parallel. Purgatory, you're in a state of kind of like a Doctor Strange deal, like you're seeing yourself. And Karmen comes in, greets her. She sees what Catalina has done. And she says, "Hey, I'm here to kind of walk you through what's going on, walk you through the program." Then she really leads into a light situation. She's very quirky. You would think Angel of Death, or it kind of pertaining to death. It's kind of going to scare the hell out of you. There's more light to it. Like there's more comedy to it. And Karmen then takes her out into the city, and she's butt booty naked, y'all. Butt booty naked, and Guillem
But
can really draw.
and we kind of talked about this in the background, but it's like it is mature audiences. There is nudity. There is, like, again, as Steve mentioned, there is suicide. There's death, but it's all done tastefully. I mean, it's not like you dwell on these topics or these things, even though they're part of the story. But you see essentially everything that's kind of around, that's going around Catalina. Even though she is nude, I mean, the way it's drawn, the way she's drawn, she kind of fades a little bit to the back. So you see all the characters in that city, and the city itself becomes this giant character.
Definitely. To Alonzo's point, it's like a film reel. And I think that's the beauty about it too. It's that the creativity and where they place the boxes, and just the art itself, the panning out into the city, and like Alonzo's point, seeing the other characters. She's seeing the other characters from her vision. And like Karmen is kind of wanting to interject, wanting to know a little bit about her. There's a little more into this plane, like you think that she would come take her across, but there's a little more. She's kind of bestowing her a little bit more knowledge about what life is, trying to get the pieces of why she did this. And like it kind of fades. Issue 1 fades into, hey, like I want to know a little bit more, but there's a lot more to life than what you've taken, and I kind of want to walk you through it. Did you know that like you can fly? The gravity is nothing here in this plane. There's so much more to life than what you're really seeing. And off, issue 1, off Catalina takes off into the sky like natural, just swimming into the air, and it leaves you hanging. And just like to Alonzo's point, it speaks to suicide a little more tastefully. So you're wondering what's going on. Where is she? And what's going to happen in issue 2. So let's get into issue 2.
Yes.
Right. So as we kind of have this, remission into issue 2, as we leave off issue 1, Catalina says, "I'll be back," or Karmen says, "I'll be back. I have somewhere to go. Enjoy yourself," in flying through the city and getting to know your plane. And so it opens up to Catalina kind of, there's no wording. It's just Catalina kind of opening into the cityscape, going into bits and pieces of landmarks. Again, the art is really amazing. The colors are amazing. They're very vivid. They pop out at you. As you can tell in the background, there's a lot of pinks. There's hues of, different colors. So it's very, very eye-catching. So it kind of takes you through this journey. Karmen's kind of going through the cityscape, looking in through these people and what's going on. And the one thing Karmen did kind of say is, do not touch any person. And she kind of messes with her. She says, or else you're going to see their worst nightmares and everything. Like anything that you would say, like to horrify somebody, you're going to be in the depths of hell.
But right, Steve. I mean, if someone tells you not to do something, I mean, You're gonna do it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. When they say don't poke the bear, we know about that oh so well. We will be poking the bear tonight at 7, right? But so in this pan, you're seeing Catalina slide into a person, and she kind of sees what her life is in front of her eyes, what kind of happened, and as you're wondering where Carmen is off into another what's called a mission, and she's interjecting on an airplane, and I love the interjection and the interaction with the person she's talking to. The person she's talking to is the one who's passed away, and he's just rude. There's really no empathy, and where Carmen is, I think you kind of see the level empathy of where she is, because she's letting Catalina kind of go through her mission and kind of see more to what is life and why she took her life, and there's more to what Carmen's kind of instilling in Catalina versus this other man. This other man's very heartless, and the panel that they use is you're seeing them talk, and then into the middle you're seeing him just heart attack, and they're trying to resuscitate him. And I just think it's amazing how they pan everything out, and how they kind of paint that perfect, how Guillem March paints that perfect picture. So as we go back into Catalina, she's going back to revisiting this place, this landmark, and she sees a pan of her life, because in this plane, in this parallel, you could see your memories. You can see other people. They can't see you. It's much like Ghost, right? Where's Whoopi Goldberg when you need her? But in this plane, she goes back and revisits an old memory of her and Cisco, and it's just reliving that memory. She kind of sees Cisco out of nowhere there, and we get to know a little bit more about what's going on, and like there indeed is. Cisco is cheating on her. You find out that he's trying to break it off with her. He's calling her, but she's back at her body in that tub, where she took her life.
Yeah, so she's just getting a different perspective about the relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's understanding that, you know what, maybe this guy wasn't right for her.
Yeah. And that the best part about that is you find out like what life is, right? There's so much more to our journey. I mean, in living your life and finding yourself and finding the direction and path that you're going to go, but you also find love. And love is such a heart aching thing. And I think it really speaks to it. It really sets the tone to see that she's going through heartache. And this is why she committed, suicide. She finds out that not only is he cheating on her with somebody else, but he's a gigolo. He's Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo, dude, just messing around with the roommate, and, Catalina has a moment of grief. She flies away and is kind of like in a woe is me type of somber. And Karmen comes in and is trying to get the pieces, like, well, what happened? And there's a little more that Karmen wants. She has her file. She knows that, of Catalina and her past and everything else. So while you're kind of seeing this dialogue with Karmen and Catalina, she's trying to make her see like there's more to life than what you're getting at. And I think Catalina is much more of an introvert, right, Alonso? So she's very more introverted. She doesn't like to interact with people, in the sense that she thinks that people are more disappointments. They're going to let you down in some sort of time in your life. When that, I mean, is all perspective. I mean, we're all meant for connection. We're all meant for relationship. And I think that is what Karmen was trying to highlight. She's trying to tell her there's more to life. We're all meant for relationship. Like you just got to mingle and interact with the right people in your life. So that's a lot of words. Whew. I mean, I'm loving this
it's
title.
great because, hey, Steve, it's a perfect lead in into issue number 3.
Issue number 3, guys.
That's right.
So this is where I would say, if you guys want to not low grades, shout out to low grades. Shout out to my man Ross, panel surfing, hitting that wave, brother. Much love. Thank you. And Lord Chucks, much love to BLCC. Check their YouTube channel, y'all, as well. And check the low grades. But let's go back into issue 3. Let's get it in. Let's get us all zeroed in. So issue 2 ends with Catalina falling without falling, like falling into another person. Because Carmen is just kind of at wit's end. She's just like kind of battling. She wants to keep her. Shout out to my man Joker, your boy. And you find Catalina falling. She's not being able to fly, and she falls into this woman who has a child. She sees her what's a pixelated view of her life, and this young woman also had grief and almost took her life, and didn't know that she was bearing a child, and she's pushing a cart. So you get to kind of see the insight of other people's lives and grief, and what we carry, the baggage that we kind of carry in our real life that we live. So what happens after that is you just kind of see a pan out into Carmen taking her somewhere else, and she's kind of seeing this son, coming closer to her and telling her, like, hey, I've given you enough time, and I'm giving you more so, to kind of experience what you're doing here in this plane and in this parallel. Most people don't get that grief. Most people immediately go to that place, and we find that place is kind of like purgatory, not purgatory, but more in reincarnation, right? Incarnation. That is what Carmen's trying to say. I'm trying to show you what life is so that the next person you become does not carry that baggage into the next life and to fight that sorrow. And I think that's beautiful. It's a beautiful take on what life is, right? We're all learning as we go along and as we live, that you kind of tend to lose sight of that. You tend to lose sight of it because you're all wrapped up in your own life and up in your own woes. That life is such a beautiful thing. You wake up to life. Everything that you're looking at could be taken away from you in an instant. You could go blind and not see the beauty of trees, the sound of music, of nature. And I think that's the most amazing thing that he's really painting the picture for. And you see what pans out into some man, Carmen just, no, not Carmen, I'm sorry. Catalina goes into sorrow. And she's sitting in and she's trying to think of what life is. And she finds this guy named Tony. You want to know me, but only his name ain't Tony. It's Enrique. We learned that later. How she gets this is she's kind of just talking to Tony, and she's like, hey, I need a voice to hear. And Tony's doing the same thing, and he pulls out this ring, and there's like a moment of a jovial moment of a joke. And she's like, oh, I barely know you, and I'm nude, and I don't take rings from strangers. And you kind of pan out. Guillem really sets the tone for this. It's beautiful. It pans out to this woman who's a waitress, and you learn that Enrique is in love. He's going to propose to her, and she doesn't see him, of course. Catalina is just ghost-like, and they kind of highlight that because she's a movie buff. So they highlight the movie Ghost and how Catalina's Whoopi Goldberg, and she's like, get your ass up and walk across that street. And she does, or he does, but the worst comes. Spoiler alert, there is an accident, and Enrique passes away, and just as life can be taken at the snap of a finger, in comes Carmen, and Catalina's like, you need to help me. We need to help him. And I think Catalina's view of life is a little distorted in some sense. It seems like it's me. Perpetual Comics, Happy Sunday, are fam from the other side of the pond. Much love to you guys. So we're getting to a point where, we're seeing this fight between Catalina and Carmen. And I think Catalina doesn't really understand, the bigger picture of what life is. She's trying to get retribution and justice. And she's saying this person that just hit him, why don't you take care of him versus taking care of this guy? He just wants to get married and live his life. And it doesn't really work that way. That's the way Catalina's kind of interjecting, and Carmen is interjecting and telling her it doesn't work that way. This is not how life is. And, there's a set plane, there's a plan, that is kind of woven into what your life is. And, there's a little more dialogue that goes in, but you see compassion in Catalina. She tries to help Tony, Enrique, get this ring. That's his main purpose, is to get it. He doesn't know he's dead. He still thinks that, I'm going to go to my girlfriend. I'm going to propose to her. We're going to live this beautiful life. I'm stubborn. I don't know the gist of anything. And you see Tony's life in his panning. like how he met her, how he got, like this, how this relationship kind of where it blossomed and into where he wants to ask her to marry him. And the crazy thing is, in comes this new character, and her name is Carmela. In the background, you see her. You'll see, like what looks to be like this nervous system, and she's a different angel of death. Plays by the rules. Takes Enrique into the plane that you saw earlier that Karmen was trying to explain to Catalina. Like, this is where you go after. But I've given you enough time to kind of see what life is. And, out comes, Catalina feeling sorrow, going to her parents' place. And she sees these pictures of herself, and you kind of get to know a little more. There's more character building in who Catalina is and what Karmen is seeing, and the kind of knowledge that you kind of seeing about what life is, right? You kind of get lost in life. But what real life is who you love, and who's your loved ones, and who your family is, and what it's gonna be, and you kind of see that tone that's set in these panels. Unfortunately, Catalina does not talk to her parents, does not check in with her parents, and she's just like, this is just the way I am, you know. And Karmen hits her with a sense of reality, and it's like, enough of that, ish. This is not the way you are. And I think we get lost in that when we're living life. We're like, this is who I am. When in reality it's really not. We are more pliable human beings than we are given. We're just stubborn. We don't really move and learn. When you say that you could teach an old dog new tricks, that's not true. Life is meant for dare I say it, pivoting and movement and changing pace. It's an ever changing kind of cycle. It's not set in stone. And so that's what Karmen's trying to interject on. Alonzo, I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. Hit me with it.
No, I can feel it, Steve. Your words ring true, my friend. I mean, you can't be selfish. I mean, Karmen is making Catalina really reflect on her life, reflect on the things that are really important, and take a good look of what is out there in the city, in the world. That why would you want to like end your life so abruptly for somebody that doesn't really even care about you? And to have these experiences, I'm like, Catalina, like, you got to get it through your head, girl. Like, come on, Carmen's doing you a favor.
Yeah. And in some sort of sense, it feels like she's playing the martyr in issue 2, where she's like, woe is me.
Yeah.
Issue 3, even you see that too. And I think that's where Karmen kind of knocks some sense into her. We leave at the very end of this panel where Karmen has had enough. She's just like, I just can't take this anymore. I'm trying to show you what life is, and you're just so stubborn and so, it's like talking to a brick wall. You just don't get it. If this is the way you want to go, shout out to my man Morbius. Sub up to my man Morbius's channel. The dude is the historian of all historians. Got all those classic covers. But we're coming to the very end of this. We're coming to, I mean, this is a big build up. I think issue 4 is going to be amazing as well. I love that there's a lot of meat in the story. There's a lot of there's a lot of pages to kind of go through. It's visually pleasing, but the story is amazing. It's just, it really closes out to what Karmen is. Like Karmen and Carmela are two different people. Carmela's by the book. She's just like, let's take them, let's get this done. You're over here doing your reports. You don't know what these reports are, but I think what Carmen's doing is showing empathy. In that's crazy, right? She's the angel of death. An angel of death is here to take you to the other side. No ifs, ands, or maybes. Whatever, where our last days are is where we're gonna go. But I think Karmen, being the angel of death, she has a sense of empathy, and she's trying to make you see what life is. There's always a message to life too. I think we always learn it. It sounds so cliche, but life is a bigger picture. It's a bigger journey, and we kind of get messed up with what we are day-to-day living. What up, Copy 801, Copy Talks. If you missed it, watch the rewind on Friday and watch all those moving forward. Flash by night, just in like quick and quick out and quick in and quick out, my man. But we're going to close out. I'm going to drop that mic, and I'm going to say this was an amazing tale. It leaves you with, Karmen leaving her alone and saying, I'm out, like, I'm out. Peace. find your way. And I don't think that's going to be the premise. I think being that Karmen is quirky and is empathetic, being the angel of death, what an oxymoron that is, she's going to come back and she's going to try to maybe talk Catalina into more so. And who knows? But I think there was a little leak in that issue where she says your life has already been set, I think, from what I read in that last issue. So we never know what could happen.
I like this review, Steve. I mean, it was true to everything you've said. Really sums up like the entire series thus far, and I cannot wait to see what issue 4, 5, and I believe it's 6. Right? It's a 6-issue mini.
It is a 6-issue. No, I think it's a 5-issue mini series. Yeah,
I cannot wait to like finish all of this. I mean, it's been so good, and your reviews are just on point, man. Seriously.
Well, thank you. I mean, you're helping me out too, Alonzo. I mean, this is great that we're able to bounce this off because we're always, so wrapped up that we in the shows and everything like that we never get a chance to really read the stories. When we do, I mean, this goes out to the chat, the group chat too. I know you guys do shows too, and to be able to sit down and kind of get reading a peace of mind, especially a tale like Karmen, because I think. Although it's a very sensitive subject, death and suicide and whatnot, life is the bigger picture and life is the best subject that we have. We're living it now. I mean, I think we really need to treat each other with the utmost respect. And I think that's the other thing is Catalina was talking about karma, and that's an amazing thing. I think this story, it being indie, there's a lot more there's just so much more message that you can get through with indie titles versus, like heroic things that you see. Not to say that that's bad either. I think you could really do a superhero justice because you're going through their journey as well, quote unquote Spider-Man, like his heart, or Batman, but the indie titles are something to be on the lookout because it's just such a breath of fresh air and it kind of can add a little more perspective to your reading as well when you get a good title. So with that being said, y'all, I mean, I think we're going to end this. Alonzo, would you have anything to add about Karmen and why they should pick it up?
The only thing I would say is that if you've loved It's a Wonderful Life, you will love this series.
And with that being said, if you want to do it right, collect what you like. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bells, comment, and we'll see you later.
I got a true talk, y'all really got no growth. I could call it stunting, but that would be too cold. I've been right here trying to get it on go. I'm too fly like oh, hop in the car and go fast like Zoom. Tell me how you feel when you dancing in the room. To this cup right here, you the brightest like the moon. In the nighttime, baby, the boogie make you move and it might sound crazy. The floor smoked out, so it might look hazy, but I'ma make sure that it's all great.